Hi everyone, this is Laura and welcome to my channel. I am super excited and happy to be with you guys here today. I am finally back to making my videos. I am feeling so much better. It has been snowing and raining, and we've had a lot of ice, and traveling has been very difficult for us where we're at. But um, I've been keeping pretty busy, just trying to catch up on the everyday chores and crafty projects. And I have to say that this is um, it's been a while since I haven't caught up with my videos. I have so many projects to share with you guys, and now I have to make a ton of videos. So if you do see more than one or two videos going up on a day-to-day basis for the next couple of days, and you are being overwhelmed by me, I am so sorry, but I really wanted to share some of these projects that I've been working on. I also have a teeny tiny haul that I want to share with you guys, and I'm thinking of doing some more uh, one or two giveaways and challenges coming up. I still have some dies that I want to share for giveaways as well that I have purchased. So yeah, I have a lot of stuff to be um, sharing with you guys and to do. So I am going to start with this little envelope that you see here in front of you. My daughters, I have twin girls for those of you who are new to my channel. They're 15 years old now. They just turned 15 a few months ago. And they are the babies. I also have two older sons. And recently they've grown very attached to one of the teachers over at the high school. So much so that this woman actually called me on Friday, and she just gave me a whole bunch of compliments on the girls, what beautiful young women they were, and she wanted to meet or speak with the parent who was responsible for them, and she was just super super sweet. I was so touched by her phone call, and it was so nice to hear that I was really moved. And to be quite honest, my daughters for some time now have been um, speaking about this teacher of theirs um, with so much love. And, apparently she really looks out for them. And when they're having a hard time, whether in school or, whatever, whether it's boys or even with me, it seems they are very comfortable going to her and speaking with her, and she gives them great advice, and they have a genuine love for this lady. So I thought it would be nice if I made her something just to say thank you for all that she does for my girls. And the first thing I did for her was I made a card. And I had a lot of fun making this card. I have to tell you guys, I love my this. Um, I love my envelope punch board. I tell you, it's one of the best investments that I have made. The only thing I'm not happy with is apparently the little cushion that comes here. It came out. Now, I don't know if I have a defective one or what happened, but mine did pop out. So it's a little hard for me to punch now, especially with my RA. It can be quite hard sometimes, but I love it. I love the fact that I can make any card an envelope, and this was one of the envelopes. It's a 6x6 envelope that I made using my mind's eye paper stack that I have. Oh, and that's another thing. I am really, really oh, and the paper stack that I used for this project was the Prima Lyric paper pad, and this is the, I forgot what they call this, A4. And this is the A4 paper pen. I tell you, this is one of my favorite Prima paper stacks. And I also used this one, which was the almanac, and yes, the cover did come off, but as you can see, I have barely touched this paper pad, and I've had it and I love it. And so, and I think this was gifted to me by one of my sweet crafty friends. It was either Cynthia or Marla, I believe. But anywho, um, I really, really am inspired by all these wonderful scrappy and crafty sisters out there who are really encouraging us to use what we have in our stash. And I've been all last year I was on a mission that I was going to try to use as many of the products that I have purchased in the last couple of years, because I've noticed that I've been kind of stashing more than I've been using. I'm not a hoarder. I don't really like to hold on to anything, but I've just been buying more than I've been using. And so I was on a spending freeze for quite some time. And every now and then I do pick up a thing or two, but nowhere near as bad as I used to be about 4 or 5 years ago, which I am very excited about. So I decided to make this card and try to use as many things in my stash that I have purchased and have not used yet. Not things that I have used, things I have not used. A perfect example, I love stencils. I've purchased many of them, but for some reason, I just don't use them. I don't know why. I don't use them as much. Now, there are some that I have used a lot already, like the ones that my dear sweet friend Rosa made me. Those I use all the time. But for some reason, the ones that I purchased, have not used them a lot. This is a perfect example. This one I got from Kaiser Craft, and this is one of their stencils, and it's a tree. Never used it. I think I've had this for 2 years now. Never used it. So I finally used that today on a project. I also used this one. Same thing. I've had it for more than a year. Never used it. And the same with this one. Yep. I treated myself to a few of them. This one I think is a little bit newer than the other ones. But again, never used it. So I was super happy that I used this. Another product that I've had in my stash forever. Now these I do use quite often. Let me rephrase. I used to use them often when they first came out. I bought these, I think it was about 6 years ago. But I've never used them as much. And this particular color, which was pink Gumboldt, never used this one. This one I actually opened up for the first time for this project, as well as this one, which is turquoise. Now I do have a lot other colors. I mean, I have a lot. I have a big container of perfect pearls because I do love them. But there were a few that I had picked up and I just put them in there and didn't even bother to use them. And that was these three. This one is sour apple. So I did finally put some use to these, and I used them on the card. And then I'll get to some other things that I've never used that I finally did use. So let's get to the card share. It is a 6x6 card. And I did start out with a beige cardstock that I had in my stash. Another thing I used that I have not used, and I've had it since last year as well, is, I'm not sure if you can see that because I kind of hit it pretty good, but it's that corrugated, it came from the corrugated stack. It's a corrugated chipboard. And I did finally make a card with it. I did use some before, but again, something I'm not using as much as I would like to use. So I started out with a card base. I distressed everything, as you can see. I also put on some design paper, and then I put the corrugated chipboard on there, or cardboard on there. Then I took my gesso and I mixed it with my perfect pearls, and I kind of gessoed all the edges. I did it with all three colors. In some areas you can see the green, you can see the blue. Some areas you can see the pink. And then I ripped some of the design paper that I also put on top. And this, I believe, also came from the Prima paper stack. Now this little swirl right here is a die, and this is from Dynamics. And this is one of those dies that I have not used in forever. I think it's might have been 2 or 3 years since I've touched it, quite honestly. And it's a little flourish die, so I really wanted to put some use to that. So that's another item that I use that I've had in my stash forever and have not used. These pearls here, and if you look on my videos, I can honestly say I have quite a few packs of these, but for whatever reason, I just never used them. I don't know why. Now, I will say I do usually save these for my layouts, and I have not used them very much. If I can be accused of hoarding one thing, it might be that, the pearl swirls, only because I can't replicate them. It's a little too hard for me. But yeah, I finally broke them out, started using them. Here I made some of my little teeny flowers using my Diamond Dies Mini Realistic Rose. And this is also from Diamond Dies. And this is my mini must-haves butterflies sets. So I added those to my flourish. I have this glitz letters, which another item I've had forever, and it's called Teeny Alphas Pink Wood Grain. And this I bought, oh, I can't even remember. Honestly, I can't remember when I picked up. That's how long it's been. So I finally put some good use to them, and I spelled out thank you. This is one of my Spellbinder banner dies. This gazebo right here is also from Spellbinders. Another item that I purchased and then put away and have not used it, not even once. So this is actually the first time that I used the gazebo after having it forever. I don't know if you can tell by looking at it, but I cut it out of white cardstock, and then I took the stencil part once I cut it out, and I used my chalks, and I have all kinds of pinks and purples and greens, but they're very light. It's a very subtle, and those of you who work with chalks, especially the pastel colors, you'll know exactly what I mean by that. I love how much color it adds. It's not too much. Now I don't know if you can tell in the background there, but this is where I used the sour apple gesso stencil with the tree. And this is where I used the turquoise with the little diamond shaped stencil. And I did that here and here. And that's where I used my stencil with my gesso. And here you could see some more of that tree one in the background. And over here as well. Here I just did another swirl. Again, some more of those butterflies and flowers. All the butterflies I cut out using the Almanac paper stack by Prima. And I added some bling to the butterflies. So this is the card I made for my daughter's teacher. And then the inside, I just kept it very simple. I'll just write her a quick note. I'm so glad this is going to be a hand-delivered card because it is very heavy. With the gesso and the chipboard and the corrugated board and all the dimensions and everything, it turned out to be quite heavy. But I really had a lot of fun making this card. I really need to play a lot more with my stencils and my paints and my Perfect Pearls and my gessos. I don't do it nearly as much as I need to. And I'm hoping to change that this year. So that's the card I made for her. And then I decided to give her a little gift. Just like I said, just something small, little thank you gift. So I made this box for her. And it is a little trinket box. But it's actually the 3x3 note card boxes. And the tutorial that I used to create this box was from Stampin' Up. Or was it Split Coast Stampers? I think it was Split Coast Stampers. I made the box again using those Prima papers, the Lyric paper stack. Made the box out of craft cardstock, and then I just covered it with paper. And then after that, I covered it with laces, and I don't know if you're going to see the laces because they're actually the same color as the paper, which I loved. But maybe if I take this off, you can see all the, this is one lace, and then I added another lace over here. I did cover the box on the bottom, and I also will be signing this for this teacher. I put some little bubbles to act as feet so that she can put it on her desk. And I added some flat back pearls all around the box. To the cover of the box, I added some more flat back pearls and this very pretty and delicate, it's like an ivory lace with these little flowers on there. To the top of the box, I added a whole bunch of flowers, some that I made and some that I purchased. I also added some stamens and some leaves. And I did cover the whole top of the box with lace as well. And then I added these little sprays. And I added a whole variation of flowers that I had in my stash. And again, I added more stamens here just to act as fillers. And then on the inside, I just covered the bottom of the box. And again, I added that lace all around the edges. I also covered the inside of the box. And then on the inside, again, using my envelope punch board, I made little envelopes. And I made little thank you notes for her. And this thank you came from a stamp set, another item that I've had forever from TPC Studios. That's this one right here. And I used that stamp set. And then for the little bow here on the card, that's one of my dies from Diamond Dies. I made a little paper bow. And these are just little note cards of thank you that she will now have in her stash. So if she ever needs a quick thank you note, she has one. I only made 4. Kind of feel like I should have maybe made a few more. And they're all exactly the same. I made them all out of craft cardstock. Yeah, I kind of feel like maybe I should have made her like 8 of them because I only made 4 of them. But I don't know. I am not too sure if I'm going to make more or not. But these are all of them. And again, it was fun. It was quick. My daughters love it. They're going to be taking it to their teacher tomorrow. And when she's done using all the note cards, she has a pretty little box that she can either put some sweets or paper clips, or even, you know what I was thinking, this would be really nice for her since she is a teacher. She can fill it up with post-it notes. The 3x3 post-it notes would fit perfectly inside. I know teachers always like to have a little stash, and no one would see them on her desk because it would be in the box. Because I know when I worked in the office, gosh, if you had a stack of post-it notes on top of your desk, by the time you came back from lunch, they were no longer there because anybody and everybody that walked by would come and help themselves to my post-it notes. So I was thinking this would be a really cool way for her to put whatever she wanted. Like I said, paper clips, post-it notes, whatever she wanted. So this is my card and my little gift box that I am going to be sending to her. I really, really hope she likes it. I had so much fun making it for her, especially this card. I have not played like this in a really long time, and it's nice for me to step back every now and then and try to make cards without using a stamped character image, which I do love to do too. Yep, so that's about it. That's my project that I wanted to share with you guys. I have, like I said, I have so much more to share. So stay tuned for those projects, more projects coming up. I want to thank you all for taking the time to come on over and watch this video, and also for leaving a comment if you left one. If you do like my project, I'd appreciate it if you hit that little like button and just let me know. If you have any questions in regards to any of the products I use for this project, please leave them in the comments below and I will answer you as soon as I can. I hope you all have a blessed day and take care. Bye for now.